I forget what my title is now. I do have to mention that 20 years ago, was anyone around 20 years ago for the ACK road shows with Voyager? Anyone? I was doing those. So I did 4 in 4 days. I had the t-shirts to prove it back in the day. So, because we did that, I did that in Kentucky. And I think there are customers here from Kentucky and Tennessee, if that's accurate, right? Okay. So, and there was another question I wanted to ask just because of the situation there. So, because what I'm going to be talking about is how Primo V works. And from what I understand, you're on Primo today, most people anyway. And are you on Primo with Primo Central and considering using the Go V change to go over to Primo V? Is that kind of the situation you're in today at different institutions? And I opened up some cases, like I did a quick check and I saw some people were in the migrate, in the switch. Okay. Okay, so some folks are going and already on Primo V. Okay, gotcha. So one thing I wanted to bring up about Primo V is, okay. When you go on Primo V, there are actually 2 different ways of managing the Central Discovery Index. If you're still on Primo Central or moving to Primo V with CDI, there are 2 different ways of managing them, and one is called fully flexible and one is easy active. So if you are moving from Primo Central to CDI, you're put into the fully flexible setting. You can switch to the easy active setting if you prefer, and that is something that support would have to do for you. So just open up a ticket and ask them. But I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of this so that you can, because parts of the screen might look a little different depending on what you're on, and options you have might look a little different, and to just be aware of what documentation you need to look for. So knowing if you're fully flexible, and so if you are moving from Primo Central to CDI, that's by default where we'll put you. And then you can switch over to easy active if you so choose. Okay, just wanted to get that out of the way. So let's get over here to Primo V. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat as well. Okay. So what we're gonna look at here are, we're gonna see how your local and remote resources are configured and managed. And I'm gonna turn my camera off, just, it can dog the system out a bit. And we've got a thunderstorm going on here. So I hope that doesn't, it shouldn't be too much of a problem though. So we want to talk about what your local and how your local and remote resources are configured and managed in ALMA and CDI, that Central Discovery Index. So I'll say CDI a lot instead of the whole term, Central Discovery Index. We find giving this context helps you better understand how your resources display in both ALMA and out in Primo V, and how the 2 systems interact with one another. Let me just get there. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. So we're going to look at factors that influence searching for both physical and electronic resources. We're going to look at ranking, how that works, and then also how the user experience can be customized. So your collections have the data from your institution zone, and then including any records that you've loaded into ALMA, and records that you've activated from the community zone. And then Primo V is configured to serve as your discovery on the front end of that. As you maintain your local records in Alma, they'll get indexed and made available for viewing within about 15 minutes out in Primo V. So what happens, or what the CDI is, it's an index of we're up to about 4 billion electronic resource citations along with the metadata that provides context for these citations. And then CDI works with Alma and Primo to allow users for discovery and accessibility or accessing those electronic resources. So ex libris, we get those electronic collections and we put them in the knowledge base. And then we ingest article level metadata from many different sources and deduplicate it out in the CDI. So your electronic resources are activated to facilitate the linking to full text in both open access repositories and your subscription databases. Then at the same time, you activate, your activated electronic resources are matched to the metadata out in the CDI to allow users to also search that index and ensure that they're getting the correct availability for each result. So when your users are searching the central discovery index and retrieve a full text results in discovery, that's accurate and it's based on your subscriptions that are set in Alma. Then as you maintain your electronic resources moving forward, when you activate new collections, you're activating both of the components used for discovery and delivery. So you don't have to do that anymore where you would have to activate something in Alma and then go over to Primo to do it. With Primo V, you activate it in Alma and that automatically turns it on out in Primo V and in the central discovery index. These activations for the full text appear immediately in discovery, where the CDI activations generally take 48 to 72 hours. So getting that article level metadata all updated. So let's go ahead. I'm going to jump over to Primo and do some searching out here and just talk about what's going on. So I'm going to search for biolinguistics. And the first thing I see, you'll notice I don't have any search profiles popping up over to the right now at the beginning. Like at first we are just presenting this very simple search box. That's how this is configured. And we can choose, these are those search profiles. We used to call them search scopes. Now we call them search profiles. So searching everything, searching the library catalog, just articles or course reserves. So everything that is searching both the library catalog and articles. Articles is the CDI. So that is a blended search. That's what we call a blended search when you are searching both local resources and the central discovery index. So right now I'm just going to search the library catalog, and you can call those scopes whatever you want. You can make them make sense to, your users. I am on a sandbox. I do have to warn you about that. So it gets a little, sandboxes aren't real fast. So when I did this search in my local catalog, I got 3 results. And the first one I want to go look at here is the Language Instinct. So it's a physical book. I can see it's available in the library. Here's my location. So I'm going to click on the title and I'm going to go into the full view of it. Now I'm not logged in. So in this environment, I have to log in order to have the ability to, Alma wants to know who I am before it offers me options like requesting, digitization, place a hold request, etc. So that's by design. When I look at the full record, I can come down here. A couple things I want to point out. This is a little internal note. It's in a 920 in the bib, and this has been configured to show out in discovery. So that is something you have control over if there are tags you want to show. And I'm going to go and remove this from the record. If I scroll down a little bit too, I want to point out this field here called source. And so you can see where this is coming from. It's coming from the library catalog. So I'm going to jump over here to Alma and I'll do an all title search for that same search. And when I did the search in Primo, I got 3 hits. When I did the search here in Alma, I got 4 hits, and we're going to see why. It's not always an exact one-to-one relationship, but the 2 search results should be pretty similar. And then, okay, so if I look at this, here's the language instinct, and I'm going to go ahead, I can click on edit record, I can click on the title, however I'm going to get in there into the MD editor. And here's that 920, do not use. And so if I come in here, I can remove the field, I can use the Control F6. However, I want to get rid of that tag. Whoa. Was my cursor not in the right spot? What am I doing? Hold up. There we go. So I'll save the record. Ooh, I have an error. What did it not like? Oh, I took out the leader accidentally. So this is good. I can go back to view versions because it didn't like that. And I'm going to restore. Okay. So my leader's back. My 920 is gone. Let me do a quick save. So we've updated the record here in Alma. Let's come back here. Sometimes I don't trust refresh. Sometimes I just close things down and redo it. Sometimes it takes just a moment. No, it's still here. It's going to take just a few minutes, but that will go away. I'm going to do it one more time just because I do that. No, it's still there. We'll give it a moment. See, here's my holdings at my graduate library. That's the exact same thing here. If I view my inventory, I'm going to see graduate library, 1 available, on shelf, looks good. The next. There we go. I'm sorry, how the brain evolved. When we look at how the brain evolved, and that's going to show us availability in just a moment, you'll see that we have both print and electronic inventory for this. The sandbox, it was acting kind of up yesterday too when I was in here. Let's go in here. I'm not getting any availability right now. So if you look here, here's how the brain evolved, physical and electronic, but we only got 3 results out in Primo because we have deduplicating turned on. So Primo recognized that these are the same title, if you will. And when we get in here, so here we go. We can see the full text availability, so the online, and then also the print. So even though it is 2 separate bibs in Alma, with dedupe enabled, we are seeing they're sharing that. We can see the available at the physical inventory, the electronic inventory. It's showing here. I can see there's a copy at Maine, a copy at the science library, And if I come in here, main science library, and here's the electronic, and the electronic does indeed come from eBook Central. So just seeing how those two sync up. Now, I also want to look at this journal for biolinguistics. So this is a title. I'm looking at the title, and I can see it is available online. I do have full text to it, but this is just that journal record. Now, you'll see this option that's turned on here. I could do an article title or keyword search here, and this is actually searching the CDI. It's searching that article level metadata within this journal, and it'll pull those results up. So even though I'm here at that title level, which this is coming again from ALMA, it's not coming from the CDI. If I do that article level searching, that's where that will come from. If I jump back here, here's that biolinguistics. I can see it comes from the directory of open access journals. If I do go take a look, well, let's do something else. Let's go back here. I want to give that other title a chance to show off here. Darn it, it's still here. Ugh. Did I hit save? Language Instinct. 920 is gone. Let me make sure I release my record. It's just acting up today. I knew it would. That did okay yesterday. Let me come back here and let's do our biolinguistic search. And what we're going to do is we're going to go out to the just the Central Discovery Index. So I'm going to choose this search scope that says articles. So when you first do a search in the Central Discovery search, everything you see should have full text availability. Oh, and let me do okay, so if I look at what we call this a filtered search, in that this is everything you subscribe to or have enabled. You might get them free through open access journals. And then if I come over here and click on expand my results, that is going to, that's what we call an expanded search. And by clicking this, we're going to see that there are more items. So right now we have 907 results with the filtered search. And if I click expand my results, there's going to be more items in the search results that aren't available with just a click. But the searching for these has been enabled because they were activated in CDI for search. So you control what additional resources would show up here. So now we're up to 3,070. And you can see some of them, we don't have full text access, but your users had to intentionally go out and choose this option. And then you can choose to offer services like interlibrary loan, resource sharing to go try to get these. So if you're easy active, well, let's look at fully flexible, because that's probably what most of you are. With both of them, when you activate that collection in Alma, their contents are available and flagged as full text available in CDI. So with the expanded results show everything that has been activated in the CDI with this expanded search, and whether or not you have access to them via full text. The filtered search is a result of matching between what you have active in CDI and in Alma, and it's going to reflect just what you have full text access to. If I come in here, like here's this one that we don't own, you can see here are some options. I can request from interlibrary loan. I can try these other options. And so you can choose to determine what services you will offer for these items that you don't have full text access to. I'm going to get down and do a few more. Let me get back out of here. And I want to do some more specific searches. Or let's look at this one quick first. Biolinguistics for biolinguistics. I can see right here, this is peer reviewed, and I can see that this is open access. So if I hop in here, click on the title. Yeah, live demos, demos on a sandbox are even more dangerous. So I can see with this one, what's the source? Directory of open access journals. It's available online. No mystery there. So I'm going to go look at this directory of open access journals and see what this looks like in Alma. So I did my electronic collection search. And I'm going to come into the collection and I'm going to come to this CDI tab. So if you haven't been using CDI, this is something new that you'll see. And there can be some differences, again, what you see here, depending if you're fully flexible or easy active. And if you, another super helpful tip, this is like my favorite shortcut in all of Alma, is go to help for this page. And I was in here just a little while ago. And then what I do is I do a quick find CDI tab. There we go. So it's bringing me down here, CDI tab. This tab only appears when collection is indexed in the CDI. And then we can see what all of these mean and why you might want to check and uncheck some things. So be aware of this. Okay, CDI update frequency. So it looks like they give us the updates monthly. Full text linking in CDI. This is either link resolver or link in record. I don't know why this is, but with even though this says link in record, with open access, that's not accurate. If this were a subscription resource, that could be accurate, or it'll say link resolver. So I don't know if that's just a side effect of open access items. But we can see it's a full text collection. Full text rights in open CDI full text rights in CDI is set to open access, so we can search these things. It doesn't cost anything to search, which there are some resources that do. So let's come back here to Primo. Now I want to look at this article. So here's another article, again, peer-reviewed, open access, available online. So unlike the DOAJ result, there are multiple databases here. You see this full text availability. So in this case, we look, where's the citation coming from? We're getting that from Alma, local collection. But you can see, how can you access this article? You have, now in this environment, there are two ways to access it, through ProQuest and Highwire. And I'm not pointing this out because it's important to your students, but because we want to show that we can get the citation data from one or more sources, but the access is governed through Alma. So it doesn't matter where we get the citation data from. At that point, when your user clicks on this and says, Alma, hey, how can I get this? Alma sends the links back, and that's what is presented here for your users. So this, now this article, we don't have, this isn't in Alma, but this title is. So Psychonomic Bulletin and Review. Let me do a quick copy. You come in here, boom. And I think I want to do that. Here it is. It's an electronic resource. I can see that it's coming from the community zone by that icon. So that here's the portfolio. So looking at this, here's the two places, the two portfolios, one from ProQuest. And I don't know why that one is duplicated. I saw that yesterday. Oh, it looks like the coverage. Oh, that's why. I didn't notice that yesterday. And then Highwire. Okay, so we're going to go back here to Primo and we're going to do some searching. And this was kind of fun testing out. This can also be a bit of working without a net here. So I'm doing a simple keyword search for mushroom. Oh, I don't want to do this articles. I want to do this local catalog. Okay. So when you do a simple keyword search, you're just presenting this box. You're not giving your users any options. It is a keyword search. And the way to tell is once these results come up, you click on advanced search and you'll see, because Alma translates this to an advanced search and it'll show you what that is. Oh, wait. Oh, this is the one I wanted to do in my other environment. I had better records over here. Here we go. Here we go. So let me again change this to library catalog. There we go. So I got 27 hits by searching mushroom in my local catalog. If I go to this advanced search, this is where you see any field contains mushroom. So that's that keyword. When I look at my results, I see here's mushroom. So all Primo's doing that automatically for me. If the result set is lower than the default threshold, Primo will pluralize terms and rank their results lower. The out-of-the-box setting is 25. So if you get less than 25 hits, Primo's going to do that for you. But you can also update that. You can change that threshold if you like. So let's change this to searching specifically just mushroom. So we're going to put parentheses here. So here's a simple exact search. We went down to 15 results. So we got some of those out of there. And again, if I peek here at advanced search, it's still that keyword, but the parentheses make sure that you're not searching anything else. Just mushroom singular. Now, if we change this to mushroom with the asterisk, now we're going to get mushrooms, and it's even going to do like mushroomer, mushrooming with this asterisk. So now we're up to 29 results. So we went up a little bit higher. And if I'm not getting the highlighted terms anymore when I do this, but I wanted to show you, I specifically, those other terms like mushrooming, they specifically are at the bottom of the list. See how mushrooming, so Alma or Primo finds them and puts them down here because they're not quite as relevant. Or in the ranking, if you will. So let's do a little bit with some Boolean operators. So I'm still going to do mushroom, not, and your Boolean operators do need to be in all caps or they'll be ignored. There we go. So mushroom with that wildcard character, not mushrooms singular or mushrooms plural, but remember without any parentheses, it's going to do mushroom with the asterisk, not singular, and then it's going to or, so it's going to go left to right. And what are we going to get? We're going to get 25 results. So we knocked out a few of them. We knocked out the ones that say, that took out just the singular mushroom. But then if we come back in here and put the parentheses in, so now we're getting mushroom or mushrooms. Now, earlier when I did this, it went down to 18. Okay, and I just did this earlier today. So again, Primo's acting up a little bit with us this morning. And again, if I come down here, we're going to see those mushrooming titles in here. We have a collection. Another feature is Primo will do stemming for you. So if I search mushrooming without quotations, so Primo will include both the singular and plural results when the search returned too few results. This is going back to that 25. So there weren't 25 results when searching mushrooming, but you see mushrooming is up at the very top. And as we go down a little bit further, we're going to see mushrooms. Again, part of the result set, not ranked quite as high. But since the results were so few, Primo did that for us. So Boolean operators do need to be capitalized for Primo to recognize them as Boolean operators, or else they're treated as a stop word and gets ignored, or they're interpreted as part of a keyword search. Although the operators do provide greater control over the search, the full search string is not treated as a phrase, and search enhancements such as the inflection of a phrase between correlation statistics are not applied to the full text query when the operators are used. So if I do a search, so 3 words, honeybee communication. Primo's going to treat this as a phrase and look at proximity. Oh, let me go back to my other. I want to do this in the everything scope. Let's go back here. Not the catalog. We want to look at this with articles. So it looks at the 3 words, looks at it as a phrase, and so proximity is important. Now, if I change this to honeybee and communication, Primo will treat honeybee and communication as separate phrases. And so it's going to change. It's not going to be so concerned about the proximity. So the ranking of our results is different. Okay, let's go take a look at how, let me come back in here. Okay, so we did that. We looked at local resources. We looked at CDI and electronic resources. There we go. Actually, I went through this, the search optimizations. the stemming, etc. So Primo has some automatic search optimizations for you. Suggested search terms, expanding searches based on word stems, that word stemming I just saw, treating keyword phrases differently than searches with Boolean operators. That autocomplete, when you do initiate a search, Primo gives you these phrases. When you first start typing the search, generates terms based on what's typed in so far, and they're based on top local queries and the data from your catalog and CDI. You also have an option to use controlled vocabulary. So if you type in heart attack, Primo can suggest myocardial infarction. The suggestions index is not customizable. It contains LC, Mesh, and Wikipedia subject lists to expand the search term suggestions. Primo sometimes will offer also spell check, spelling corrections. Misspelling Shakespeare, you're given an option to search for the accurate term, the correct term. When the original search term results less or brings back less than 15 results, that's when this comes into play. In Primo V, this is enabled out of the box and it cannot be configured. There's also some synonyms built in to Primo. If there's a digit, Primo also, so Primo does this for you. If you type in fifth, 5th, it'll also search fifth for you. The British or Canadian spelling of terms, color or color. Again, this is enabled by default. You can disable it if you like. These are the stop words, current English stop words. A word that's not on this list is will, because it can be a noun. So that is intentionally left out of there. In general, CDI ignores stop words and queries except for the searches using double quotes. So when you do enter that, they pay attention. So I went and I did those mushroom searches, and I do want to point out, you have this presentation, I believe. And so this is just talking about the different searches I did. The Boolean operators, I got out of order there. And I really want to get into, how am I doing on time right now? 9:39, okay. Looking at authentication, discovery, and delivery. So CDI has some restrictions built in because vendors and publishers are controlling access to their subscription content. When you're doing searching in the CDI, there are two different types of authorized users, ones that are sitting on campus and ones that are off campus. So if you're sitting on campus, you'll see Primo knows where they are, but not who they are. Or if you're logged in on campus, it knows where they are and who they are. If you're off campus, but still logged in, CDI knows who you are and will offer that subscription content to them in their results. If you're off campus and not logged in, Primo doesn't know where or who you are, so some results may not show up in Primo. And you'll see a lot of people have, that message that comes up in Primo, log in for complete results. Now talking about CDI, so getting into the CDI part, if you are on campus and not logged in, or on campus and logged in, so the CDI search results include all active resources. If you're off campus but logged in, you're going to get all the resources, but depending on proxy settings, may have to log into that to get access to the results. And if you're off campus, not logged in, the results only include resources that are activated in the CDI that are not restricted for search. And then you're also probably going to need the proxy for full text delivery, depending on settings at that service level. You can set up restricted restricted user groups. If you determine that you need to have restricted user groups set up, there are two options. You can restrict search by user group of the user record and restricting search by defining a group of records. Generally speaking, we don't see academic libraries using these restricted search groups. Most libraries rely on restricting access to delivery rather than search. So I want to take a little bit of time to look at ranking. Let's get out of here. Let's get into my Alma. Here we go. I'm going to go into ranking config. So the ranking config allows you to configure the ranking algorithm to change the order of local records in the search results. There are three sections here. We have the field boosting, we have date boosting, and then resource type boosting. So field boosting allows you to determine how much weight you want to give your search term if they're found in a specific field. We have these default ones out of the box. So, if something comes up in the title, it's going to get boosted pretty high. The range is 0 to 5. And anything below 1, it's kind of like deboosted, I guess is the phrase. You can add new fields if you like to this, this table. You just choose that and the value. You can also do date boosting. So this could be a year or a series of years. Like I did like 2011 to 2022. Oop. I could add that. And then what's the boosting factor? So if you want to give more current titles a boost. You can also boost resource types. With resource type boosting, you can give more or less weight to materials based on the resource type. You can boost up to 5 different resource types. So date and resource types can have pretty big influence and significantly alter your search results. So if we come back here to Primo, if we look at the branding of Primo, the colors, fonts, logos, the content on the homepage is also customizable via HTML. These links up top here, these are a combination of links to functions like a new search, Primo, journal search, and some hard-coded links. get out of there. Once I do a search, oh, and so there we can see that those suggested topics and then also the search scopes. I'll let that finish. It already knows who I am, so I'm not getting that sign in message. The wording over here on the scope or on the expand search results, I think it says tweak your results. You can change that wording, no problem. With regards to the facets, in the brief result list, you configure the facets. They can be here on the left or on the right, what order they appear in, if you want them to be visible at all, so you can turn some off if you like, and the labels that you use. So instead of topic, if you want that to say subject, you can't alter what's in them, but you can alter these labels. You can configure the results that display here in the brief view or in the full record. You can also control the order of these sections. The citation managers, we have these out-of-the-box citation managers. In the view it and get it sections, you can determine the types of services you want to present and under what conditions. So you can, you can have conditions. So yes, if we own it, don't offer the interlibrary loan option. If it's online, don't offer to digitize if you offer that service at your institution. You can even add local fields like you saw in my little do not use. So if there are tags from Alma that you have specific information in and want them to display, that's not a problem. I also want to show you something called recommended resources. So this is a way you can recommend resources to patrons based on their search terms. And I do have to go, no, this is not the environment I want. Let me make sure. Yes, this is the one I want. They're turned on in here. Okay. So these are some recommended resources. You can see since I did this search, I'm getting a suggested database and a suggested website. So that's based on my term. I can also, if I do this search based on these terms, I'm getting a suggested librarian. So a staff member, subject specialist in that area. Oh, let me do this one. Library hours. So even a search for library hours, because a lot of people consider Primo your homepage, if you will. And even you can create custom tags. So here's a link out, library information. Lori, you asked a question. How did you know they were turned on, or what did I look at? Is it these features you mean? I just know that some of these databases have this enabled and some don't. And this database was set up specifically to offer these features. So that's the only reason I knew. So remember, all of our documentation is, indexed out in Google. So I just did a quick search, Primo recommended resources, and it's bringing me right here into the CKC, Customer Knowledge Center. Resource recommender. Now, look at this. I also like to point this out. If some of you are moving to VE or you're already on it, if you do a search and come up with the documentation, this is actually Primo, excuse me, not Primo V. So if there is separate doc, there'll be a hot link right at the top. So pay attention to that because the configuration is very different since Primo V all happens, in Alma, it's on the Alma platform. So configuring the recommender service, where to do it, config, discovery, other, resource recommender config. Config, discovery, other, resource recommender config. So it's turned on here in this environment. I want to give my biolinguistics one more shot. Oh, I didn't want everything. Ever hopeful. Now, yesterday when I did this, it did that pretty quick. Or no, it was earlier in the week. It worked. Now it's taking its time. Language instinct. Is it gone? It's gone. Yay. So it just took a few minutes to think about it. Plus, I don't know if it helps that we keep editing the same record. I should get a new search or add a new, yeah, it's gone. No, it's still here. Darn it. Okay. Primo's just acting up. So we've got just a few minutes left. It's 5 till. Whew, I was worried about getting through this in time. Any other questions for me? Of course, we have our documentation. Remember, everything is, you can pull it back in Google. You have this PowerPoint, so you can use these hot links as well.
I guess I may have a question about resource recommender, if it's a good time to ask.
Sure.
I guess in case some folks are interested in using it, is it like, can you pick like maybe only recommend librarians but not databases if you just want to pick and choose what you wanted to recommend?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, we have just those different ones turned on. So you could say, hey, let's do our subject specialists and get all that kind of going. Promote, our services, especially with people not seeing you, not walking in, that might, really prompt what you could do for them. So yeah, you choose what you want to recommend.
And then you can assign keywords to your resources if you want?
Yeah.
Cool.
So where did that go? So here's a person. Let's go look at what Jean did here. Oh, see, yeah. Laura is a knitter. I'm a quilter. So I should add myself here as textile. So here are the tags that'll come up for that person. And so, yeah, kind of cool.
Hi, Jenny. Let me ask you a follow-up question about this recommender. The keywords, so it won't do the stemming, all the things you mentioned previously, right? If you put math, it's only search math. It won't expand it to mathematics.
Oh, with
or those type of
these?
things. Yeah, I think those keywords is just has to be matched exactly. Is that right?
Ooh.
Like uppercase, lowercase, will that help you?
Let's try, just now that I see, okay, let's see, okay, because Laura's words, knitting and knit, you know what I mean? Because Laura's words, Regine's words, she's using, let's see, let's test this out. So we got crochet, and that was at her singular, C-R-O-C-H-E-T-I-N.
If you do like uppercase C, will that come out?
Okay, so crocheting didn't, so it's being really specific.
So who wants to go get on the idea exchange then?
Oh yeah, the uppercase.
So capital
okay.
didn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
and knit didn't get anything, but knitting did. So yep.
Yeah, it's an exact search, but it doesn't matter the capitalize or not. Yeah, it's probably hard to do stemming for when you put it in this area. It's just different.
Yeah, but it might, I don't know. I'm a programmer. But if it's not, always look in the idea exchange first.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there. I mean, because I have seen things happen like that when they're easy. I actually got my first idea adopted. I was so excited. I was so proud. And voted for it. It was just something I suggested. It must have been easy to do, and they understood why I wanted it. So
great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We still have a minute or two if any of our guests in chat land have anything they want to ask about.
Lori, look,
lucky to
Lori
have...
said she did one with 3D printing in our Imagineering lab. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I also saw you do the library hours. So the library hour is on the website, right? It's a website recommender.
Yep.
Okay, good. I think that might be also useful. Mm-hmm. So you link to the hours page. Great, thank you. Mm-hmm.
It almost gets me thinking I want to open the hood on Primo Analytics later and see if maybe there are any keywords coming in that I hadn't thought about that maybe we can catch and make a response to.
If your libraries are open or not, and access, and who knows? Yeah, that's a good idea I need to dig into Primo Analytics, but our Primo Analytics are weird on our databases. So
okay, well, maybe we'll just see if there's just one last, any question or comment or anything. All right, well, thank you, Jenny. This was great.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Really
maybe next year I'll see you in person.
We look forward to it.
I'm just outside of Detroit, so I could get down and see you, no problem.
Cool. Yeah, I won't reveal our location yet. That's coming later in the day, but it will be.
Okay.
It will be in the Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee area, but that probably should not surprise anybody.
No. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.